class, this is Corrine Cullen, your teacher for FSN 429, Clinical Nutrition 1. I'm actually having surgery over spring break, so I decided to do some video recordings for the first part of your quarter. I hope that's okay. You can also watch them during spring break. So I have the syllabus here. Our class lecture time is Tuesday, Thursday, 9:40 to 11, and our lab is Thursday. That works out really well because we'll be able to learn more in lecture before we go to lab. My office hours are Monday, Wednesday, 4:10 to 4:40, and Tuesday, Thursday, 12 to 2, or by appointment. You guys should all be seniors, almost graduating. We are going to have multiple learning objectives, which you can read on your own. There is a required textbook, Nutrition Therapy and Pathophysiology, Nelm, Suture, and Long. It's the 3rd edition, 2016. This is the same textbook that you will use for 430, so I highly recommend getting it to help you study, to enrich the PowerPoints, and to help confirm some of the things we'll be learning in lab. This says that you will require a lab manual. In the past, I have printed or made a lab manual that was able to be ordered through university readers. I have not yet made your lab manual, so I'm actually, you guys are the very luckiest class, I'm actually going to print it for you myself using Cal Poly printer instead of you guys having to order it because I have such a small class and I wasn't able to get it done in time. So I will have for you your lab manual the first day of class, as well as be putting some support material up on Polylearn. You will want to have a calculator for lab and exams. If you want to use your cell phone during lab as a calculator, that's okay. But on the exams, you can only use a non-graphing calculator. And so I recommend you get used to using that. We're actually going to have more math than you ever thought you would ever need to know in nutrition. This is a lot of math. So make sure to bring a calculator. I also highly recommend a pencil, especially for lab. Lab manual, I discussed a little bit. Lecture slides, I'll have them posted on Polylearn. I highly recommend you print them out and take notes on them, or have a laptop or tablet that you can add notes while we lecture. I will probably record the first video lecture online, but that's to be determined. I will primarily test on what we've done in lecture, as well as areas of the lab manual, as well as what we've discussed in lab. I use Polylearn for communication, so make sure to check updates to Polylearn. If you miss a class, you can get notes from a fellow student. Hopefully it's a trustworthy student. Not necessarily notes in my office hours, but my office hours will be really helpful, especially for lab assignments. I highly recommend coming to my office hours just to go over your lab assignments, specifically something called an ADIME note that we're going to be doing a lot of. I find students do a lot better who come to my office hours. Quizzes. We're going to have some quizzes. So far, I have in-class versions. I don't have any online versions yet, but that may change. The quizzes are worth 20 points. The very first quiz is going to be on terms in your lab manual, which I will post to Polylearn. And so the very first quiz is the easiest quiz. I highly recommend you study the terms and do really well in the first quiz. They will get progressively harder. You can drop one of the quizzes, so your worst grade can be dropped and you'll have the best out of 5 scores. I usually will review the quiz answers right after you guys have taken them in class. Okay, exams. This talks a little bit about the exams. Lecture exams are going to be mostly multiple choice, about 70–80%, and some short answer. Lab exams are going to be very intense. I'm sure you have all met other students who have taken this class. Fortunately, unfortunately, with the Learn by Doing motto, we're going to have you be doing real life case studies, and you'll also be doing those on the lab. So it will require quite a bit of writing. The lab exams will likely take you close to the entire time. No exam makeups unless catastrophic emergencies. DRC students, just let me know so I can send your test to the DRC or anything that you need. Lab cases. So we're going to start working on these case studies, which are hypothetical patients together in lab, and we are not really going to finish them in lab. You're going to have to continue working on them at home or over the weekend and into the next week. Most of them are going to have what's called an ADIME note. ADIME, which you guys are going to be more than familiar with, stands for Assessment, Diagnosis, Intervention, Monitoring, and Evaluation. It's a way of charting on patients. We're going to have approximately 6 ADIME notes, 20 points each, and yeah, they can really help your grade in the class or hurt your grade in the class, depending. Follow the diet. So this will be a lecture assignment. Follow the diet assignment is an opportunity for you guys to be a hypothetical patient yourself, eat a diet that a patient might have to eat. So you may have, as a hypothetical patient, gone through bariatric surgery and have to be on a bariatric diet. Maybe you have to be on a clear liquid diet or a full liquid diet. Maybe you have to be on a low sodium diet or a very high calorie diet to gain weight. So you'll be given a scenario close to the last month of class. You're going to have to actually eat those foods, photograph those foods, and then run those foods through ISHA, food nutrient processor, to determine how closely the diet that you were supposed to eat met the needs of the person that you were supposed to be. Policies. All assignments are due in classroom at the beginning of class. Assignments turned in after collection has occurred will lose 2 points. I'm not that strict on that. However, late assignments, 10% of available points, an additional 5% off each day. I am more strict on that. That being said, it's still totally worth it to turn in something late. This is one I highlighted for a reason. Please staple assignments. You will miss points if you don't. Especially in lab, there's going to be multiple pages, and it's just really important for me when I'm grading them so that I don't lose them, that you staple them. So go buy yourself a mini stapler at the dollar store or Poly Campus bookstore and keep it in your bag and staple your assignments. If you have a question on assignment, email me 48 hours prior to the assignment is due. That really is important for the weekends. The weekdays, I'm usually checking my email at the very least every morning, and most days multiple times a day. But on the weekends, it's my weekend too, so I may not be checking as frequently. So do give me more notice on the weekend. If you want to explore a grade or investigate why you got a certain grade, you have 7 days to do that. Professional classroom and interpersonal etiquette is expected as a matter of courtesy. We will be talking about many diseases, hospital states, obesity, diabetes. These can be sensitive subjects, as well as nutrition in general. So just be courteous and open-minded to your fellow classmates. Try not to be late. Try not to miss class. At the very least, do not miss lab. If you have to miss lecture, that's not the end of the world, but really, really try hard to not miss lab. We have a really short time to learn a ton of information in lab. For email, I use Cal Poly email, so if you don't use your Cal Poly email, you might want to have your emails forwarded there. Plagiarism and cheating are serious violations. All work is expected to be original work. No cheating, duplicate work of any kind will be tolerated under any circumstances. So this is really important for everything, but especially for lab. You may work on the case studies together and double check answers with one another, because in general, you all should get pretty similar answers. However, there is some interpretation that's possible. But when it goes to writing your ADIMEs, you need to write your ADIME as an individual. Also, when you do your lab case studies, you have to show every single bit of your work. If you do not show your work on the case studies or the lab exams, you will not get credit. I can't give you credit if I can't see the work. And more important than that, I want to be able to help you in case you get anything wrong. And so if you show your work, I'm able to identify any issues that you might have had and help you through that. Okay, this is the academic dishonesty policy. Points in the class, so lab midterms, 2 of them, 100 points each. A-dime notes, which I talked about. We may do a couple cases where you don't have to write a note, but we're going to do a case study anyways. And then lecture, we're going to have some participation points. Quizzes, like I said, the poorest quiz score is dropped. 2 midterms. This has a MNT evidence report on it. I could actually add tentative to that. This is going to be a literature-based investigation of a disease and treatment. So perhaps you want to investigate, I don't know, ketogenic diet and seizures. Please don't do that. I've read hundreds of those papers. But if you wanted to, you might write a 4 to 6 page paper on that. But you would be investigating the role of some nutrition therapy on some diet type. So a better example might be branched chain amino acids on liver disease, or low carb diet on diabetes, or high fat diet on diabetes, or high carb diet on diabetes, etc. Follow the diet I talked about a little bit, but we'll be talking more about as the class progresses. And then those are the grades that you can get. Syllabus is subject to change. I'll try not to change it, but we'll do our best. Like I said, I may record some of these early introductory lectures for you guys to watch. You will still be responsible for the material. The first quiz is planned for the first Thursday of class. And like I said, I'm going to post these terms on Polylearn for you to see. And then you can see the rest of the assignments. So the first lab assignment case study will be due the second week, and that's just a worksheet. Your first A-dime will be due the third week. And then it talks about each additional A-dime that's coming up. If we do the literature investigation, it's going to be due here. We do have one of the funny Monday schedules coming up. Also, the week of May 14th and 16th, there's a day that I need to be gone. So the Thursday, we're going to do an online lecture and an online lab activity. And the quiz that week will be Tuesday, but usually the quizzes are Thursday. Final exam is scheduled for a Thursday. I hope that that is correct. I might need to double check that. Let's go to the front. Final exam. It looks like I don't have it up here, but we'll double check the final exam time just to confirm, because I'm not 100% sure I updated this from my last quarter's syllabus. Okay, I look forward to seeing you all in class. I will be totally available by email the first few days of school. I just am not able to lift things, so I may not be as physically on campus. Okay, thanks for listening to this. I may do a mini pop quiz / class participation to confirm that you actually listened. Okay, bye.